I'd rather it was more like, "Hi, I'm Jonathan Langley. She's Jackie Nowak. Welcome to the Voice to Radical Center," or something.
Go ahead.
And I'll just say, "Hey, Jackie, how are you?" And you can tell us what you've been doing.
Okay.
How does that sound?
Fine.
Or you can do...
No.
Or you could say, "I'm Jackie Nowak. He's Jonathan Langley. Jonathan, what's been going on?"
No, you go ahead.
You sure?
Start. Yep.
Hey everybody, this is the Radical Center. My name is Jonathan Langley, and she is Jackie Nowak.
Thank you. Hello.
Jackie, what's been going on? How have you been doing all week with COVID and everything else that's been happening? I honestly have no idea. We work without a net. We don't always have a script. How are you dealing with social isolation? Are you wearing a mask?
It's over. Well, I wear a mask everywhere I go.
You do?
But I can go anywhere. I don't feel like I can't. There are places that I'm missing out on going. I feel like anything I need, I can get out there and go take care of. But I do have a fun fact for you to start off.
All right.
Yeah, today's
Go ahead, I wanna hear it.
very special day. Not only is it Flag Day, it's President Trump's birthday. Did you know that?
Oh, actually, you know why I knew that? Because
Okay.
when he made that, did you know this? When he made the speech at West Point,
Okay.
where he couldn't raise the glass. Apparently,
Mm-hmm.
I haven't seen the video where he couldn't. I don't want to make fun of people's disabilities. Something's going on. Said this for the longest time. He's a human being, no matter what. He actually said that. He said he's on stage and he riffed that it was Flag Day, which is what, the founding of the...
No, it's just like announcing, hey, this is our flag. It's the adoption of the U.S.
Right,
flag.
okay.
Commemorates it.
Right, okay. So he said it's Flag Day, and guess what else? It's also that day, or will be in a day or two. He said it's Flag Day, and it also happens to be my birthday.
Yeah, so
he
he's
actually said it,
74.
but he was expecting, I'm sure, people to start cheering, or people to maybe even spontaneously sing Happy Birthday.
Mm-hmm.
Dead silence. No one said a word. No one said a word. No one said congratulations.
Well, I mean,
No
he's
one-
at the podium, right? This is while he's at the podium?
Yes.
I mean, people don't respond in...
I guarantee you
that
he
sort
was
of
expecting,
fashion.
well, especially the Army, they're disciplined. I guarantee you he
well,
was.
it's also the anniversary of the U.S. Army.
Well, that's what I just said. You just
No,
said, I just said the founding of the U.S. Army, and you said
Oh, is that
no.
what you said?
Yes. I
Well,
know I did.
that's
We'll
not
play
what-
the tape. We'll find
That's
out.
not what Flag Day is. I was explaining Flag Day.
Oh, I
so
see.
it's three things.
Oh, I didn't realize that. Okay, so
They're
we're
two
both
different.
right. We're both right.
Yes.
So that's what he was saying.
Okay.
Okay, he actually said then it's the anniversary of the founding of the U.S. Army, and it's my birthday. And I'm 99% sure, knowing his personality as remotely well as most people, he was expecting someone to chat, clap, or cheer, or spontaneously jump into singing Happy Birthday. I'm not. I
Okay,
mean,
yeah.
don't you think?
Well,
Why would
you
you
know,
even say it?
I
You're there to
guess
celebrate-
every guy's hoping that for a Marilyn Monroe moment. I don't know. Happy birthday, Mr. President.
Ooh, who would?
I don't know.
Okay, I have a question.
Okay.
Who would be the equivalent of Marilyn Monroe today to sing from the Rat Pack era to sing "Happy Birthday, Mr. President"? If that
Well,
were,
so it has to be somebody very
Someone today.
outspoken and pro-Trump.
who
because-
would that be? Well, not even pro-Trump. I'm just trying. 'cause
Oh,
I don't know.
so
Who would be the Marilyn Monroe equivalent?
sex
I know we're
symbol
riffing.
of
We're riffing
the-
here. I have no idea
I
where
don't
this is
know, we're
going.
rambling. I don't know. I don't know who is like
Like
considered.
Roseanne
the-
Barr?
Come on.
No.
Come on.
If not Roseanne Barr, I'm joking.
I mean, that's a tough one.
The woman from Her, she's also in some of the,
Oh,
the
yes,
Avengers movies.
Yes.
Her, whatever.
Yeah,
I can't
no,
remember
no.
her damn name either.
You're right.
Yeah, her. Anyway, all right.
That's exactly who it is.
That's how much we care. But it was about Hollywood. But it was. I guarantee you, that's what he wanted.
Okay.
That's where he was expecting him to suddenly break out and throw the hats in the air and go, "It's the Mr. President's birthday." I guarantee you, if that was North Korea, we're going to get into all this in a minute.
Yes.
They would have had to spontaneously bowed or thrown their hats in the air. Or
Okay,
something.
well,
He was
this is
expecting
not North Korea.
Yes.
Yet.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay, so what's on your list today? I have
Okay,
my
well,
list.
the protests continue.
So, what do you think about that? How they become defund the police? What do you think about that?
I think that the concept of changing the police to a less violent force makes great sense. What happens in confrontations, and it happened again over the weekend, and that was actually going to be my ugly, is that oftentimes the police start off on a nonviolent course and end violently, whether it's called for or not. Now, this weekend, it may have even been called for because the person that was killed did assault the police officers, but he was running away and then shot and killed. And I'm speaking about the incident that occurred at a Wendy's in Atlanta.
He was in his car or something, right?
Well, he started out in his car. He had fallen asleep. Chances are he was drinking and driving, and the cars in the drive-thru had to pull around him. And
he had fallen asleep in the drive-thru.
In the drive-thru.
Oh, I got it.
They called the Wendy's.
Of course, they called the police. Of course they did.
And the police came out and they administered a sobriety test, which he failed. Mm-hmm. And they went to put handcuffs on him to arrest him, and he jolted.
So why would they shoot him when he's running away? They're going to arrest him.
Because there was a physical altercation, 2 police officers and him, and he grabbed one of their tasers and ran.
Okay.
And so then he turns around and, directs the taser in their direction. But I don't know if the taser could have gotten them. I think they were too far away. But just the reflex of turning and pointing something at a policeman is a very dangerous situation for everybody involved,
absolutely.
Right? And so then they shot him and killed him.
I don't know then that you can... obviously, when you're in the moment, who knows what you're going to say? Clearly, that's totally different to the guy knee on someone's neck for 9 minutes.
Oh, absolutely.
Totally different.
Totally, and yet it's not, because the use of such force when somebody is not attacking you, they're running the other direction. He did turn around, and in that instant, he was killed. But I don't know if you can actually. This is a trickier one.
Yes, I agree.
But the way that officers are trained, they're trained to shoot to kill, and maybe we need to reevaluate.
Well, that's
that.
Part of it, right? Is the police force become too militarized?
Right.
And I don't. Listen. I will say this. I was thinking about this the other day. I have. If I was I think I told you this story. I don't know if I've done it on air, but I'll say it. So when I was driving through Austin, I will keep it brief, but the only time I ever really have conversations with the police is when I'm pulled over for speeding. I'll admit it. But they've always been extremely professional, and mainly, I guess I have a good experience because they usually let me off. I just claim it's just the English accent thing, right? It's just what it is. So I was pulled over by a rookie. Mm-hmm. In the evening. It wasn't late. It was like 9 o'clock at night. And next thing I know, there's 4 police cars. And the reason I knew it was a rookie is because I said, why are the rest of you here? They said, this is his first or second traffic stop, and we want to make sure he's okay. And they said, I get it. And I didn't feel threatened. They didn't give me a ticket.
Yes.
I was let off. And I was just in conversation. I was having a pleasant conversation. Guys, I appreciate what you do. It's a difficult job. You've got people like me. He's a rookie. I totally get it. And I just sat there.
But if they pulled you out of your car, put your hands behind your back, asked you to put your hands on
I would have been shocked because I wasn't doing anything. I was just doing what they said.
The conversation is, yes, that happens with you because you are
charming,
an affluent,
elegant,
white male.
No, I mean, I'm just making the point that one of my friends said this really well.
Okay.
And I totally agree with him. Whether it's right or wrong, if the police tell you to do something, do it.
Okay, so that hasn't really worked for a lot of people.
Leave the area.
And while I agree with the sentiment, it doesn't always work.
No, I like the old white guy that was pushed down. But they now say he has some brain damage or something. I don't know if that's true or not, mate. But regardless, he was told to leave. Just leave.
Okay,
just leave. Just go. Leave.
What
go
if the officer
away. Go away.
Is wrong? What if he's giving
It doesn't matter.
Well,
it doesn't matter.
It does matter to a lot of people.
It doesn't matter. Just leave. Just leave because it doesn't. Okay, all right.
Yeah,
So, all right. So
I think you're missing the big picture.
Oh, no,
and the
I'm
big
not
point.
missing the big
Yeah.
picture. I'm saying if I was maybe a black guy in that situation and
It could have gone down a whole
four
different
police
way.
cars showed
Yes.
up, even though I was speeding. I'll admit it. I was driving too fast down a suburban street, and
I'm thinking you're making the point for people.
they let me off.
Yes, I think you just made the point for the
Well, I'm not
protesters. But
Yes,
anyway,
probably.
So I think the defunding the police
It's stupid
doesn't
name.
mean to
No.
it's they need to change the name because it's not supposed to mean to abolish the police. It's supposed to mean to reinvent the police, perhaps.
That's
or
what they should
reform the
say.
police.
Reform the police, not
Yeah.
defund. That's idiotic.
Right.
I think most people could get. And by the way, I think it depends on the police department. Austin clearly doesn't have the same things we're broadcasting from. Beautiful, sunny downtown Austin, Texas. Austin clearly doesn't have the same stress on it.
Well,
the Chicago
just 2
or-
weeks ago we had. I mean,
Okay.
last week the video was in the news of an officer that had been on live PD. They were Williamson County Police, and they did a 22-minute chase into Austin of an African-American man who was shot and killed.
They never showed that on television.
They
though,
did not
apparently.
show it. They did not
So
air
much
it
for
in-
being live, but they didn't
Right.
show it.
Right.
I guess there is a delay. There's got to be maybe.
There is a delay.
There's got to be like a 4-minute
They said
delay
they do
or,
that.
or some kind of
Yeah.
delay. It's live, but it's
the
not
show
like
is
instant.
gone now as well.
Well, how do you feel about that? Do you think they should have canceled it?
I never watched it, so I can't really have an opinion. I don't,
I think
don't
yes.
know
The
if
answer is yes. They
if
should
it
have.
was glorifying police or glorifying criminals. I don't know if I don't know the story.
I take my hat off to the police,
yes,
Absolutely,
absolutely.
I do.
I don't
But
want to
that- but
live
I-
in a world without police.
but I don't have that background
Right.
that clearly
There's a
some of
stigma.
these
There's a
minority
stigma.
communities have. Okay,
Okay.
so that was your ugly. We didn't good, the
No,
bad, and the ugly.
Okay, that
we
really
sort of
was
drifted into that.
Yeah,
What
it
is-
was Rayshard Brooks was fatally killed in Atlanta.
Okay, so
That
what
was
is
my
your
ugly.
good and bad?
Okay. Well, my good,
good.
is good, but it's also one of those things that I don't know if it's just a symbolic good or what's the point? Is this going to lead to actual change? I don't know. But Congress passed the Justice in Policing Act 2020. It meant to make it easier to prosecute officers for misconducts and requires the use of body cams. And there's now a ban on chokeholds in policing.
That's a good idea.
It is
Absolutely.
good. It is good.
I think part of it is we don't train the police well enough, it seems, in some
Well,
departments.
I think we train them too well, right? Or
Oh,
maybe they're doing
maybe.
a lot of calls. What
Maybe.
basically people are saying as well is that they're doing a lot of calls that shouldn't fall to the police. Maybe there's a lot of calls that should a social worker should come in, or a counselor should come
Yes.
in, or a mental health
Yeah, the police have said that forever. That you
Right.
don't.
So this could actually
Why are we
help
there to talk
policing.
someone down off the ledge? Right? Why there's
People don't know who else to call,
Right?
though,
Why
because
are we?
you call 911
Why are we
in
there
an
doing?
emergency.
I agree. I agree. All right. I don't have a good, the bad, and the ugly this
Okay,
week.
and well, my bad is the first campaign rally that Trump is coming back into Tulsa.
Would you want him coming to Austin, for example?
It's this Friday night.
I thought they moved it from Juneteenth, though.
No.
Yes.
When did they do that?
You didn't know that?
No,
No,
it-
it's no longer there.
Oh, okay, because it was
No,
meant
they
to be
moved
this
it.
Friday
They haven't
night.
said yet. You didn't know that?
I did not.
Oh.
You're sure they moved it?
Yes, look it up on your phone while we're doing all this. Go ahead. I can't
Okay.
believe I knew.
I guess I'm going to have to
the
trust
Hermione
you on
Granger,
that.
the Hermione Granger of the Radical Center got it wrong. It
Yeah.
is unbelievable.
Okay. Well, so since it's going to be in Tulsa, you know the history there.
Yes, it was the biggest. Wasn't that where the biggest race riot was, or something?
Right.
Or something like
Right. In protests.
When was
again.
that? Do you remember the year on that?
Let me check my lovely little notes for
Okay.
you.
All right. Well, while you're doing that,
Yeah.
because we're going to talk a little bit today about. I want to.
And by the way, since we have a little segue here, Scarlett Johansson.
Scarlett Johansson. We couldn't think of a
Popped
name.
into my brain late.
Oh yeah. I love her actually. I really like her. Yeah, she would be great. Wouldn't she be good singing "Mr. Hello, Happy Birthday, Mr.
Yeah, that
President"?
would
You just
work.
get.
That
She's
would
got the
work.
sort of Marilyn Monroe thing about her. Can I
Okay.
just talk about? So are we finished with this?
We can be. I was just going to comment on the Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Oh, yes,
event.
yes. What
Just
was
in
it?
general, I did go to the Tulsa, Oklahoma COVID response page on the web, and
very
they
good.
have begun their phase 3, kind of like Texas, I believe, their phase 3 enactments, and they're reopening, and it's supposed to, whether it's a venue for weddings or for events, limit the size to 250 people.
Even that many?
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
But
I was going to say 10.
Have we ever seen a rally with less than 250
Oh,
people?
so they claim
And so
this-
I don't know if they got a special exemption. I know that they're making people sign the liability waivers.
And they claimed 800,000 people signed up. Give me
800,000?
That's what the Trump campaign said this morning.
I don't know how many. I
800,000
wonder how
people.
many people are in Oklahoma, or how many people would travel there.
Well,
I wouldn't
I can
surprise
tell you
me.
the population of Oklahoma is 3 to 4 million. I believe it's much smaller
Okay,
than
then
Texas.
it actually doesn't surprise me at all.
800? No, it's BS. There's no way on God's green earth that 800,000 people signed
Or
up.
just dying to get to there.
Yes.
and
No, my
catch
God,
COVID.
no. Give
Well,
me a break.
Okay. Okay.
Publish the list, please.
And they're actually
grief.
supposed to be 6 feet apart. So do you think they're going to keep people 6 feet apart at the rally?
It's not even 6 feet apart. How do you go in? You're going to be all in big.
Well, if you stay 6 feet apart and
here's
march
going to
in,
be the real test when they do the Republican convention or Trump's speech. You know, these people in D.C. aren't idiots. Even if they say one thing and do something else, which is the whole point of this show, is the hypocrisy. Do you really think the smart, intelligent Republicans with families are going to want to go cheek to jowl at a convention?
Right. I
No.
think there are more
No.
people who would go
No.
to a rally just to show their support to Trump rather than professional politicians.
And then we want to see how
and-
many people get COVID after that. Right. Seriously.
It'll be easy
interesting.
to track.
Okay, so can I one of the things we want to talk about is the big topic for me this week was all about the misinformation that's out there.
Okay, tell me.
And especially around how are we any better, perhaps, than some of the things that come out of Russia or North Korea. And it's a sycophants around Trump, right? People always say it's Trump. It's not Trump. It's the GOP because people around
Not holding him accountable.
Not holding him accountable or resigning once they find out that maybe they're sincere. Like Bolton, who's written the book. He knew. But the fact is that if you either have principles or you don't. Lindsey Graham, Ted Cruz, Marco Rubio, I could go on. And how can you basically prostrate yourself in front of someone in a free society when you don't have to? And I told you last week, I'm going to say it again. I have a reason. I know why they do it. They don't know what else to do. They have no other skills. Would you hire Ted Cruz? Would you hire Lindsey Graham? Anyway, here's what I wanted to bring up. Trump has said he was going to help the steel industry. Remember tariffs, which we're all paying for, not China. He will also have something called beautiful clean coal. Tariffs have not helped the coal industry at all. So I'll give you an example. Peabody.
And is there such thing as beautiful clean coal?
Of course not. That's his
I
words.
thought he was
I've got it
gonna
highlighted here in
miraculously
yellow.
make it happen.
Here in yellow, it's highlighted if you're
Yes.
watching this online. Peabody, who's a big booster of Donald, they're the family or the company. When in June of 2018, Peabody was $47 a share. Guess what? Guess what it is now?
72.
No, $3.50.
Oh,
It's
I
come
thought
way-
it went up.
No, it
I
was
thought
back
that's
in
why
June.
they were fans.
It did go up
Okay.
in June since 2016 because basically they were almost bankrupt. My point in bringing this up is there isn't anything that Trump has done.
Well, you
Nothing.
can't really bring back coal.
Well,
I mean, why
no,
would we
steel
want
industry.
to?
The steel industry. Remember, all those tariffs are 25% tariffs. The average middle class Americans are paying for it.
Well, when an average building costs $1 million to make, you're looking for less expensive across the board.
Right.
So even if it's less expensive to have your steel from China and ship it here than it is for American steel,
The whole
it
point
all
of-
comes down to the bottom line.
But the point, yes, but here's the thing: what Trump did to make America great, nothing's worked. You and I paid higher taxes on imported goods, right? An average middle class person, let alone a working class person, any tax break that they got is eaten up just by higher taxes on things they buy at Dollar General. I'm being very, I don't mean to sound bad, I'm being condescending. Well, I shop at Target. I just can't handle Walmart. But those things have gone up in price. You and I are paying for it. because of the simple fact that China doesn't pay for these tariffs. And my point in all this up, whether the steel industry, whether it's the coal industry, nothing Trump has actually done has actually helped.
Yeah. And then giving out all the tax
to the rich.
To the rich.
Yes.
All the tax
breaks.
Benefits
yes.
to the rich.
So
before, when the economy was great, this is the time when we needed that
now we should be
$1.5 trillion.
We need to be spending. Yeah. We need to be spending 3 or 4 times what we're spending to help the economy right now.
Right.
Okay. So the reason I bring all this up is in the context of truth in the media.
Okay.
So,
and I suppose you have an opinion on that?
You're going to get me all riled up. You know that. So I'll give an example. So Fox News and others on the right, and it's terrible that Fox News has become this, is essentially in some ways like North Korea. There is no wrong that the dear leader can do. And I'm not original in saying this, but we've spoken about it before. Let me give an example of what Tucker Carlson said, little bow tie boy. These are his quotes because I do my homework and I don't take things out of context. He said, "It's too bad an innocent black man was murdered, but we have to stop destroying property." Now, that's fine. However, wouldn't it have been better, Mr. Carlson, who, by the way, comes from an elite family, comes from lots of money, and is the one right up there with Lindsey Graham, as far as I'm concerned, as the world's worst sycophant. If he had, instead of saying it's too bad a black man was murdered, but we have to stop destroying property, if he had actually said in reverse, it's too bad some property got destroyed, but we have to stop murdering innocent black men. Now, if he had, someone said this to me, if he had said that, that would have made a lot. That would have, yes, property got destroyed, but you can't put it in the context of a life.
Right.
And here's another one from the same person. Democracy cannot, he said this, so Carlson said this, democracy cannot exist. By the way, I love how these people wrap themselves in the American flag and democracy. Democracy cannot exist when people are rioting. Rioting is a form of tyranny. And this individual made a great point to me. Our forebears, I had to ask him what he meant by this. Our forebears at Concord and Lexington would beg to differ. I guess that's the American Revolution he's talking about. So that's rioting is not always a form of tyranny.
That is correct.
So anyway, so
that comes.
So the reason
a lot
again,
of assumptions there,
and then I'm just making the observation. You can't expect Fox News and others to suddenly claim to be the bastions of democracy and freedom of speech when they themselves are putting out misinformation and propaganda. And let's not call it fake news anymore. I'm tired of that. It's propaganda.
Oh, you know what? I think you're right.
It's not fake news.
And it's on both sides. But it is way worse on Fox.
I don't even...
I think they just don't even...
They don't care.
They don't tell the stories.
No, they don't. And
they only tell the favorable stories. And they come at the news from a particular angle.
And CNN, for example, they've done some stupid things. Every network does at some point. But they fire people. Like when this guy... I got one here. I want to get into Florida about misinformation. But did you see this? And I want to get into the Freedom Index, where you think America is on the democracy scale. You're going to be shocked.
We discussed this before.
Well, I did it again. I did a research on it.
Okay.
So Fox News removes a digitally altered image of Seattle protests. So on Friday, Fox posted on its site a photo of a man. So at first, since I read this, I was like, oh, it's just some amateur producer website guy playing around. But think about this. Fox News on the website posted a photo of a man armed with a rifle standing in front of the shattered glass of a storefront. Seattle Times did some research and noticed it was a combination. This is what people forget. Google will tell you what every image is.
Right.
The Times noticed that Seattle Times. It was a combination of several different photos from Getty Images taken over nearly 2 weeks. Also on the website, Fox posted. So it's two. So someone did it twice. Fox posted a nighttime photo of a burning storefront and car, accompanied by the headline "Crazy Town," but the image was actually implying it was in Seattle, but the image was actually taken in St. Paul, Minnesota. Now, here's what I'm saying. I guarantee you, if someone did that at the BBC, they would be out of a job. They would be fired. New York Times. If the New York Times had done that, I guarantee you they would have fired someone. But this is Fox News. All they're saying is...
Well, they're doing quite a bit of...
How's that better than North Korea?
No, it's not. But they're right now. So when Austin had their homeless situation, it became front page news in Austin. This was now, I guess, at the beginning of this year. But what they're doing, and so it was on Fox quite a bit. Right now, Seattle is the liberal area that Fox is up in arms against, these crazy hipster
hipster doofus.
Well, they're the protesters that they're against because of the area known as Chaz.
Chaz? I've never heard that. What is it?
Okay. It is Capitol Hill Autonomous Zone.
Oh,
now,
right.
It used to be called Chaz. I found out this morning that it has changed. It is now changed to CHOP. They don't want to be known as Chaz. They want to be known as CHOP, the Capitol Hill Organized Protest, where they've really taken over 4 blocks in Seattle to hold the protest. They've taken over a police department in Seattle.
I didn't know that, actually. Okay.
Yes, the police went away peacefully, well, semi-peacefully, and allowed the people to take over the police station. And they're catching a lot of flack on both sides.
Well, they shouldn't have. I mean, I was aware of that part. I didn't realize they'd given up the police department.
They
police
did.
Station, no.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, that's not good.
But they're wanting to, they're part of the defund the police. They're wanting to reorganize in a much more...
I think you and I said it. Reform the police makes a lot more sense than defund the police.
Defunding the police.
And it depends on the department.
Take $1 billion away from police departments across the
Well,
country.
I mean, it's not going to happen any more than...
I don't think you can.
But again...
I mean, you just... Yeah.
But again, right... Fox News doesn't have to play these games of propaganda.
Right.
There's a story there. Just report it.
Right.
They took over. The police gave up the police building, whatever. I don't know how big it was. And that
but
you
if
don't
you
need,
do
you don't
this
need to
against
gild the
cities
lily.
like Austin and Portland and Seattle, there already is an image that comes to mind.
Oh yeah,
right?
but was the image right? It's the same one which you've spoken about.
It's the lefty loonies.
The lefty loonies.
Yeah.
We don't want to bail out the states who get all the money from the federal government, when in fact, as I showed last week, out of the bottom 10 states, meaning the ones that get the most money from the federal government, 8 out of 10 are Republican, including Kentucky.
A sanctuary city. You can't bail them out.
Right, but it's all, none of it makes sense because it's not true. And this is why
there are Republicans in those places.
Of course, the last time I checked, Republicans live in Austin, Texas.
Yes.
So let me just say this part though. So they removed the images from the Fox News website. An editor's note now accompanying the article says, Fox said the now deleted image was a collage that did not clearly delineate between these images and since have been replaced. In addition, a recent slideshow depicting scenes from Seattle mistakenly included a picture from St. Paul, Minnesota. Fox News regrets he said. That is total bullshit. You know damn well that someone somewhere sat there in the editing suite of Fox News website
and hope to make it look worse.
And hope to make it look worse.
They wanted to project
an image. And this is why when Fox News says
you could probably get that same exact image from real photographs.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And when it's lazy. And when Fox News gets and they didn't say who it was. They haven't fired the individual, I presume. And they should. When Fox News claims then that CNN is false and whatever... You can't say that. It's like Tucker Carlson talking. All these people talking about elites. What is an elite? You can't get more elite than Tucker Carlson.
I love. Yes, it's Fox News calling everybody fake news, and then it's Tucker Carlson calling everybody
fake news. Yeah, that's what you do in propaganda, though.
I think there's so much opinion, and we're an opinion show, right?
No, we stick to facts. We do have
it's
facts.
Also an opinion show. You can't deny that.
No, but we back it up with facts.
Okay.
Don't you think? Everything I do is factual. I don't sit there and go, I made this up. It's fact.
Well.
Like Abbott having better health care than everybody else in Texas. And
I understand.
That's fact.
But that doesn't mean that we're not an opinion show. We absolutely are.
Really?
Yes.
Well, we are, but we do it in the form of facts, though. The reason I started the show was because it was the hypocrisy of people like Ted Cruz, Lindsey Graham, and Greg Abbott, and all who all happen to be Republicans, I might add. That's not why. So there's another one that's from Big Brother.
Okay, go ahead. What you got?
You looked this one up. They fired this woman, the data scientist in Florida.
Yes.
Her name is Rebecca Jones. They wanted her to, according to her, change some of the COVID
And
information.
who's the they?
The governor. And all
The
those,
governor.
she works for the government, the federal government.
And is that Rick Scott?
Yes,
Is the governor.
yes.
Okay. Just
And
I
she
want to
was-
name names.
She's the one that created a dashboard so you could look up and see how many COVID-19 cases there were in Florida, and she says that she objected to and refused to comply with. I love what they say about her. This is very Big Brother-ish and should freak everybody out. A spokesman for the governor said Jones this is a quote, exhibited a repeated course of insubordination during a time with the department, including her unilateral decisions to modify the department's COVID-19 dashboard without input or appropriate epidemiology team. Try saying that when you're drunk. Or her supervisors. My point of being...
It is quite insubordinate.
It was
I
insubordinate.
agree. It's totally insubordinate to not do what your boss tells you to do.
Exactly.
Especially when they tell you
Here's
to
the
lie.
thing. So when they're saying this, a repeated course of insubordination, unilateral decisions to modify the department's COVID dashboard without approval. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Guilty
totally,
as charged.
Exactly.
I did it.
Yes.
But the reason I did it because what you're asking me to do is wrong. And again, I just bring all this up is this propaganda is really sickening, which is why, even though you say we're an opinion show, which we are to some extent, I do focus on facts.
Yes. Well, you said that I knew about this because I did look it up. But
Yes,
when
you
I
did.
went to go look up her information, I kind of got distracted in the whole Florida thing. So
What
let me
Florida
tell
thing?
you well, because now the Republican National Convention will be held in Jacksonville, Florida.
Oh.
And it's Trump's
Right.
home state, right? So he's moving it
and
from
he voted remotely.
North
Did
Carolina.
you know he
which is
voted
a
by
Democrat.
mail in Florida?
He's already done it?
Yes. Previously, the man voted by mail. The man that says
he's allowed to, right?
yes.
I mean, so-
But he's all against voter fraud because it's terrible and voting by mail is terrible. It's like when they remember this other big one. I'm sorry to get off topic.
No, go ahead.
What do they call it? Chain migration.
Oh,
And then
please.
it turns out his wife's parents came in as
within weeks
Within
of
weeks.
them coming in, he's complaining about
chain migration. Yes, all right.
The irony. Well,
No, the irony, the hypocrisy.
hypocrisy.
Thank you.
The hypocrisy.
Yes.
Okay.
One rule for them,
So,
one for us.
One of the things that distracted me whenever I was looking up the national convention being held in Jacksonville, Florida, was the fact that it's actually going to take place, and you couldn't make this up. It's going to take place in Jacksonville in August. Right?
In the
August,
heat.
September?
In the heat.
Well, there's that. But on August 27th, 1960, there was something called the Axe Handle Saturday. I had never
What is
heard
that?
of this.
I've never heard of it.
I've
What is
never
it?
heard of it. But basically, there were protesters that sat at lunch counters. They're like NAACP.
So what year was this?
African
They did it?
Americans,
What year?
1960, where they were
1960,
trying
okay.
to desegregate drugstore counter dining.
Oh, they
You
were
know,
segregated? In the
It's
60s?
the South. They were still segregated.
Okay,
And African Americans were not allowed to sit at the counter
Where were they supposed to sit?
at the back.
Oh, like in a booth or a table?
Yes.
Okay. Wow, I didn't
Okay,
know that.
and so they had peaceful protesters who were trying to integrate the downtown lunch counters. Okay, and the KKK organized an event where 200 white people joined the police and chased and beat them with axe handles and baseball bats.
God.
I know. So this is 1960, and they're doing this, and
It's always a shock to me when I hear some of these stories because
it is a shock.
Because I didn't realize, for example, in Alabama, you want to hear a bit of useless trivia?
Okay.
A black man and a white woman couldn't marry
that
until
was-
1966.
Yes, and
It's like, whoa, okay.
right.
Wow, all
And
right.
that was probably hard even in 1966 for a
Oh,
lot
I'm
of people
sure.
to take.
Absolutely.
But
yeah.
the city has already issued permits to commemorate the 60th anniversary of the Axe Handle Saturday because it.
Oh, it's
they-
called axe handle because that's what they were using
They were
as a
using
weapon.
axe
Okay.
handles
Okay.
and baseball bats, but African Americans had already planned to commemorate this the protesters that were beaten that day on the 60th anniversary, and then Trump has plans for the RNC now to be in the city, both about a mile away.
My understanding is it's not going to be a full-fledged convention, though, right? Is Trump even going to be there to have his speech thing? Because or is that going to be somewhere else? Does his acceptance speech for the nomination?
That's a good question. Why wouldn't he be, though? If he's going to do rallies, why wouldn't he be?
I don't know, but it's just
that would make no sense to me that he wouldn't be there.
I've read different things about it. I don't know, but I'm so glad they didn't choose Texas.
I really thought they would be coming to Dallas because he had gone to Dallas a couple weeks ago, and there was some talk about
he could have come to Austin.
It to Texas. He couldn't have come to Austin, but he could have gone to Houston.
Why couldn't he gone to Dallas? To Austin.
It's
too small,
liberal. It's
we are a bastion of liberal thinking.
It's not as there are his people.
Wait a minute.
There are plenty of people who love Trump here, but I'm just saying Dallas is more.
But let's not forget, Dallas. Every major city in Texas, as Abbott says, is a Democrat.
Okay.
Every city has a Democratic mayor.
And yet the overall demographic of the state is Republican.
Getting close. From what I hear.
Turning purple.
We'll see. Well, this is what I want to talk about: democracy.
Okay, democracy. Tell me about it.
We've got misinformation. Let's call it. Let's not call it fake news. Let's call it propaganda. And this is actually, and as an American, I'm going to make this very clear. I am an American. I just don't sound like it. I find this rather sad. I looked it up because of this propaganda thing from Fox, right? And One American News. Have you ever watched One American News? I had the misfortune of catching one guy talking about the guy whose head was banged, the old guy saying he looked fake.
Right.
How can you have these people have no shame? Let me get this straight.
And it's working for them.
Well, hold on.
People are tuning in.
Well, they're minuscule compared to Fox. But here's the thing. I forget the fellow's name. I just happened to catch the piece of his op-ed analyzing. By the way,
the fakeness of the fall.
The fakeness of the fall.
Yeah, and the blood coming out of his ear didn't look real to him.
And the fact that everything else on One American News is run on a nickel, you can tell, because you and I have looked into this. Well, at least I certainly have. All their content, their news content, it all has British accents because they all get it from Reuters or from the AP.
Okay.
And they have AP, and a lot of those reporters are all over the world. So One American News doesn't just. It's actually interesting. It doesn't just focus on. We need to do a whole show on this. It doesn't actually focus on American domestic life, which is what all the other news networks do. It has a sort of a BBC feel to it because they focus on world news a lot because that's where the content comes from, right? Because they pay for the AP and Reuters. And
a growing, fledgling news
so
station
you and I could compete with them. You know how much it costs $5,000 to get the content, just in case everybody's wondering, because I know I've looked into it. And they have students that probably work for free behind the counter because they're on TV. And they just happen to have. I just happened to catch this guy talking about this 75-year-old fellow being pushed over and him analyzing it. And then Trump tweeted about it and got in trouble for saying because he'd watched it. The reason I bring this up is, let me get this. So the fellow's name, whoever he is on One American News, doing his thing. So I'm thinking. So my job today, I'm going to get up. And I'm going to make something up because this looks really awful. Because why? So this guy went to high school and college, and he was voted most likely to be the biggest propagandist. You see what I'm saying? How do you go from being someone who probably had aspirations to being someone who makes shit up?
Well, so because you don't ever see yourself that way.
You don't think?
No, you're diving into things that nobody
like
else
Alex
is
Jones.
Even
How did Alex? It's basically Alex Jones on One American News. He's basically saying that this isn't real. It's all fake. No, these people aren't stupid. They know deliberately. It's like propaganda people. It's like Goebbels from the Nazis.
Yes.
Propagandists. We're not killing the Jews.
I can't argue with you there.
Okay, so can I bring this up then? This is a quiz for Jacque Nowak.
All right, let's do it.
So, there are a gazillion countries on the planet, 195. And the Freedom House does, every year, they do analysis of democracy, the state of democracy in the world. And their latest report, is why I'm bringing this up today, is that democracy is failing throughout. It's not as strong as it was. And they have parameters.
To grade.
Which includes things such as the ability to freedom of assembly. Right, they include that. Or it's does your vote count? Freedom for the judiciary to make rulings outside of political interference, right? So the score is 100 out of 100. And what I find rather depressing, so to put it in perspective, the UK comes in at 94. This will be on our video, but I've got it there.
Okay.
So the UK is 94 out of 100. And one of the areas which it failed or got a less of a rating, was not to do with judiciary, but to do with interference in some of the rulings, right? It's a very minor thing, right? Mm-hmm. Very minor. So 94 out of 100. To put it in perspective, the only country I could see on this list that got...
So this is not the countries in order, it's their grade.
It's their grade.
That they were given. Okay,
so United Kingdom got 94.
94, that's still an A.
That's great.
Yeah.
But to put it in perspective, Norway got 100 out of 100.
Okay.
So what do you think the United States got?
I'm going to go with a B minus.
Which is what in American?
I'm going to say it's an 81.
Actually 86.
Oh, okay.
But here's where they...
That's a solid B.
Here's where they fell off, though.
Okay.
This is why we can't take this for granted. Where they fell off was interference in judiciary.
I don't know how we started to blend politics.
Correct. That's it.
Judiciary.
That's it. That's exactly
That
it.
is a very dangerous
Mitch McConnell
thing.
is the worst
Even
of that.
if you are a Republican right now and things are looking good for Republicans, that interference...
It should upset you.
It should upset you because when it flips, because it always does, right?
Yeah, it always does. Someone else can do it too.
It's the whole point of the judiciary is to be a separate entity unto themselves.
Correct.
And so it should make everybody upset.
So to put it in perspective, the UK got the way they grade it is out of 4, which and then it adds up to 100, and they do this multiplier. But I have 2 here. So the first one that I picked on was judiciary interference by governments. Yeah, they're always saying things. What are the Republicans always saying? Reactionary judges. My favorite line is reactionary judges should not be allowed to make law. Well, that's their frigging job.
Right.
It's based on English common law, for those who know what I'm talking about. And the second is, so we can go back to Magna Carta for all that. And the second is that it's the wrong way around. Yet again, we don't need the politicians to protect us from reactionary judges. We need judges to protect us from reactionary politicians.
There you go.
Okay, do you like that line?
Yeah, I like it.
Okay, so what do you think the second big failing was? So judiciary, and what do you think? Yeah, we talked about it on this show quite a lot. It's probably
voting. So
yes, close.
Okay.
Gerrymandering.
Oh, gerrymandering. Yeah.
Yes,
that's a problem.
Gerrymandering of districts, because if you wanted that to be totally free and open, you would have independent, say, judges, panel of 3 or 5, who sit there and make honest, best efforts.
I've got even one better.
Okay, what is it?
AI. Let AI do it. Artificial intelligence.
Big brother?
Opinion.
That's really scary.
Well, so what they might do is say, 3,000 people in this district, 3,000 people in this one. They just break it down in cubes or, in squares rather than...
Why not just divide it by county? Wouldn't that make more sense?
I don't know.
I mean, so Austin...
So Harris County is the biggest county in...
Yeah.
It's gigantic.
Yeah.
You can't do it by county. It
you combine them together.
Little tiny counties also more power than the giant ones.
So we're going to interview some congressmen. I'm not going to name them all, right, to do for some of our stuff we're going to do for Amazon. And I've looked up some of their districts.
Okay.
And they're really weird.
Of course they're weird.
Here in Texas. They're really weird.
They're weird everywhere you go.
And it's so anyway, so if you really believe in democracy, and like Tucker Carlson and Shallow Hal, Sean Hannity, always wear their American flag on their lapel because they want to remind us how patriotic they are, because we don't wear it, so we're not that patriotic compared to them. You always be really weird, scary at people, really want to look out for people who claim to be more patriotic than you. And that is that if they really believed in democracy, they would be questioning this redistricting, because it's
well, everybody always questions it when it's not in their favor.
Exactly. No, I'm not saying that the Democrats would like it either, but the fact remains if you want to question why America, in fact, there's even one rating for democracy index, and it's not this one, the Freedom House, and there's another one which calls it a flawed democracy. And the reason it's a flawed democracy is, in their eyes, is money in politics, which I didn't count, which isn't counted in this list from Freedom House. Money in politics, and they include, of course, gerrymandering and others. But Freedom House is a well-known well-known business that looks into, to put it in perspective, only have Uganda, for example, got 34 out of 100. Ukraine got 62. UAE got only 17. Right, having been to the UAE,
so we're doing better than.
I think the fact that we're doing better than the UAE is pretty good. Uruguay, by example, they're saying it's 98 out of 100. Uruguay.
Wow.
And I haven't looked into Uruguay.
Okay.
You know the worst on here, which is not a surprise, Uzbekistan, out of former Soviet Union bloc. So, but I'm making the point is, yeah, of course, America's a land of the free, and I'm not mocking anything. I'm just making the observation we can always do better.
Right.
And you can't claim to be a real freedom guy if you don't question when one party or the other is doing something against the interests of
judicial interference, money in politics,
yes, gerrymandering. Yes. All right.
We have a
I got
long
that
ways
off my
to go.
chest now. And let's stop calling it fake news. Let's call it what it is, propaganda.
And then before we finish up,
Yes, we're
I don't
running
know
out
if
of
you're
runway.
even
No, I'm
close.
done. I'm done. I'm finished. That was
In
it.
the realm, since we're speaking of democracy,
What is that?
this is my application for a mail-in ballot to
Really?
vote.
Okay.
Well, I can't do it.
Why?
There's only 3 categories or 3 reasons to mail in vote.
So this is a Texas-specific form.
Texas specific.
Okay.
And one of them has to be that I'm 65 or older, not
Which you're
quite
not.
there yet.
No.
Disabled.
Well, you could pretend.
I thought there was going to be something on here related to health that I could go with.
Oh.
But there's not. It is
okay.
only
Okay.
disabled.
Okay.
You have to be designated disabled.
Okay.
Or you have to be expected to be absent from the country. And I thought, okay, maybe I can claim that.
Yeah.
But where they're going to mail your ballot,
Going to your private island in the Caribbean.
it would have to be my private island in the Caribbean. And I'm not going to be there due to COVID.
Yeah, your private
So I
airstrip.
wouldn't get my mail. And then the
Really?
last one
So-
is confinement in
Jail.
jail.
I guess.
And I'm not going to be there either.
Well, we would hope
Otherwise,
not.
I would like to. I was trying to find a loophole
Can I see that? Let me
that
look at
I
that.
could.
I haven't seen that before.
It's not printed as dark as
No. But so you're saying the
you-
only reasons that
has to be
you,
one of those 4 reasons.
one of those 4 reasons to actually being able to vote
and so
by
I would
mail,
have to explain my disability. I'd actually have to have my ballot sent to the place that I claim to be going. I have to prove that I'm in prison, or I also have to prove that
And
I'm
the
over
worst part about
65.
this is-
So using COVID, we already knew that the state government said you cannot use COVID as an excuse not to vote in person, but I was looking for a loophole.
So here's the other thing. I want to know what the one of these looks like for Florida, because Trump voted.
Well, he's over 65. And he also can have his
right.
ballot sent. And every state is different because he wouldn't be out of the country.
Why we just can't
But-
vote electronically through our PC? I mean, I can do online banking with double,
And that does seem quite secure.
which is very secure, with double. What do they call it?
Authentication.
Authentication goes to my phone, or they send me a little device. Some of the banks, the British banks, give you a device. Oh dear, which actually sends you a code. You punch the code, which is a unique code, or Chase or JP Morgan and everybody else. They send you a code to your
Right.
phone. It's a one-time code, and once you voted, you can't do it again. So why can't we just do that?
You could send a voter registration packet to
Yes,
people with the
yes.
code
Why don't we do that?
inside. I
So,
don't
but the
know.
fact that you have to be 65 or older, have a disability, absence from the country, from the county, it says, or a confinement in jail. I didn't think you could vote if you were in jail. Can convicted felons vote?
Well, you could be in jail for
Oh.
a misdemeanor or
Okay.
another.
How do you know in advance if you're going to be in jail?
Well, perhaps
Seriously.
you've got a 3-year sentence, and then you would know, right?
Wow. Okay, so the point is you can't vote by mail.
I cannot vote by mail
Wow.
as
Okay.
of now. I don't know if we need to petition
It's
our governor
ridiculous.
and get it
It's
changed.
it's a no-brainer in this day of electronics.
So I will be voting early,
So
without
why,
a doubt.
right? So the question again is, why are the Republicans so against it? I don't understand it. The last time I checked, a lot of Republicans might want to vote by mail. I mean, Trump did, so clearly he wants to. So why? And it's safe according to him because he voted.
Again, that's the hypocrisy.
All right. Is there anything else? Because we're
Oh,
listen. Look at all this pile of paper I never even got to.
We didn't even talk about, a few
What?
things, but about the Confederate statues coming down. I think that's probably a good thing.
I
People
didn't
have
even-
been complaining about it for decades.
What about the Eyes of Texas song?
I heard about that.
Which, for those who don't know, is the UT fight song.
It's the UT fight song. I need to learn more about the reasons why that's offensive to people.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because I don't understand.
I just read about it. Here's the thing. I'm shocked when you think about it. Why are there Air Force bases and other things named after Confederate generals and others? Wait a minute. They lost the war. They were the enemy of freedom. Why do we...
I think the schools should be renamed.
Yes.
I think the building should be
I totally
renamed.
agree.
The statues,
Yes,
it's fine
absolutely.
if they come down. Again, I need more information
Okay,
on
all
the
right.
fight
So that's the
song,
whole...
'cause I'm not clear on
okay,
that.
well, we'll talk about that at another point.
Dive a little deeper next time.
So we still plan on doing the Amazon show, just to make it very clear. In fact, the posters you see behind us somewhere are posters which are for the Amazon, graphics for the Amazon show. And our plan is to still do that live at some point, but clearly we can't do it in front of an audience because COVID's real. But we are going to be we're going some great documentaries. We're going to keep that topics on the
We're
down
going
low
there.
for the minute
Yep.
because we're getting there. Anything else you want to add before we go?
No, I'm
Okay.
good.
All
I'm
right.
just ready to go have a good week.
Are you going to play
And
tennis tonight? Because isn't this your 1%ers live in gated
It's
communities?
the one thing that you know about me. It's
You
really
ride bikes, you
bizarre.
play tennis.
So bizarre.
Well, I know what your business is, which we don't want to talk about, but I know what it is. Do you?
But yes, I do plan to play.
See, I knew that. Okay,
Yes.
all right. All right, so my name's Jonathan Langley,
And I'm Jackie Nowak.
and we will be back very, very soon. Thanks for listening or watching.